Warren Buffett was rejected by Harvard. He was terrified of public speaking. He started with $114, and he turned it into a fortune that changed the history of investing. Not because he was the smartest person in the room, not because he got lucky, because of 7 habits. Habits so simple, most people hear them and think, that cannot be it. But here is the thing. By the end of this video, you will never think about money the same way again. I promise you that. Stay with me. Before we get into the habits, let me tell you something about Warren Buffett that most people get completely wrong. Most people think he is a genius. He is not. He will tell you that himself. He said, and I quote, "You don't need to be a rocket scientist. Investing is not a game where the guy with the 160 IQ beats the guy with the 130 IQ. What he has that almost nobody else has? Discipline, consistency, and 7 habits he has followed every single day for over 80 years. He bought his first stock at age 11. By age 14, he had already filed his first tax return. He started with $114, $114. And through 7 simple habits, applied consistently for decades, he built one of the greatest fortunes in human history. So what are these habits? Let me show you, starting with the one that changed everything for him at age 19.
Habit number 1. And this one will surprise you. At 19 years old, Warren Buffett was terrified of public speaking, physically sick before every presentation. He would feel nauseous just thinking about standing in front of a crowd. So he spent $100 on a Dale Carnegie speaking course. $100. Years later, someone asked him what his greatest investment of all time was. Not Apple, not Coca-Cola, not Berkshire Hathaway. He said, and I quote, "Invest in as much of yourself as you can. You are your own biggest asset by far. Anything you invest in yourself, you get back tenfold. Nobody can tax it away. They cannot steal it from you." Think about that for a second. The man who has invested in some of the greatest companies on earth said his best investment was a $100 speaking course, because your brain is the only asset that never depreciates, never crashes, never loses value. It compounds just like money does. The more you put in, the more you get back. So before you put $1,000 into the stock market, put something into yourself. One course, one skill, one book. Because the return on that investment lasts a lifetime, and it gives you the foundation to make every other investment better. Habit number 2. And this one, most people do completely backwards. Think about how most people handle their salary. They earn, they spend, they save whatever is left. Buffett says that is the exact wrong order. His exact words, "Do not save what is left after spending. Spend what is left after saving." Read that again. Save first, invest first, then live on the rest. Not the other way around. Buffett started doing this at 11 years old. 11. While other kids were spending their pocket money on candy and comics, he was investing it. He bought his first stock at age 11 with money he had saved. That discipline, that habit of paying himself first before spending a single dollar on lifestyle is what gave him the capital to start investing. The practical version for you? The moment your salary hits your account, move 10 to 20% into investments automatically. Before you pay rent, before you buy groceries, before you do anything. Automate it so it happens without thinking. Make it non-negotiable. Because here's the truth. If you wait until the end of the month to see what is left, there will be nothing left. There never is. Pay yourself first, every single time, without exception.
Habit number 3. And this one is probably the most shocking habit of all when you consider who we are talking about. Warren Buffett, worth over $100 billion, still lives in the same house. The same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. He calls it the 3rd best investment he ever made. He drives a modest car. He eats McDonald's for breakfast almost every morning. And he once used coupons at McDonald's in front of Bill Gates. Bill Gates, one of the richest men on earth, wrote about it in his annual letter. He said he could not believe what he was seeing. And Buffett's response? "I'm not interested in cars, and my goal is not to make people envious." Don't confuse the cost of living with the standard of living. This is not about being cheap. This is about the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is your weapon. That gap is what gets invested. That gap is what compounds. That gap is what builds wealth. Lifestyle inflation is the silent killer of wealth. Most people, every time they earn more, they spend more. New car, bigger apartment, better restaurants, and they end up no wealthier at $80,000 salary than they were at $40,000. Buffett never let lifestyle inflation touch him, not once, in over 80 years, because he understood something most people never learn. Wealth is not what you earn. Wealth is what you keep. 3 habits in. And I need to tell you something before we continue, because what is coming in habit 5 and 6 are the 2 habits that most financial advisors never tell their own clients, the ones that Buffett says are responsible for the majority of his wealth. Do not skip ahead. You need habits 4 to get there.
Habit number 4. In 1999, everyone was buying .com stocks. The internet was going to change everything. Every investor on the planet was rushing in. And Warren Buffett did nothing. Absolutely nothing. Everyone called him old, out of touch, finished. Magazine covers were asking, is Warren Buffett losing his touch? Then the bubble burst. .com companies lost 90% of their value, trillions of dollars wiped out, and Buffett had lost nothing, while everyone else lost everything, because of this one habit. His exact words? Risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. And this, never invest in a business you cannot understand. His rule is brutally simple. If you cannot explain exactly how the business makes money in one clear sentence, do not invest. He never invested in technology companies he could not understand. He never invested in complex financial products he could not explain. He stayed in his lane. Coca-Cola, people buy drinks, simple. Insurance companies, people pay premiums, simple. Banks, they lend money at higher rates than they borrow, simple. Know your lane. Stay in your lane. Get rich in your lane. Because the most expensive words in investing are, I do not really understand it, but everyone else is buying it. Habit number 5. This is the most famous Buffett habit, but almost nobody actually does it because it feels completely wrong. In 2008, the entire financial world was collapsing. Banks were failing. Markets were crashing. People were panic selling everything. Retirement accounts were being emptied. Financial experts were saying this was the end. And Buffett wrote an op-ed in the New York Times. The title? Buy American, I Am. While everyone was running out of the burning building, Buffett was walking in. His exact words? Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. Crashes are not disasters. For the prepared investor, crashes are the biggest sales of your lifetime. Think about it this way. If your favorite store put everything on 50% discount, you would run toward it, not away from it. The market is the only store in the world where people run away when prices go down, and Buffett runs toward it every single time. He bought billions of dollars of stocks during the 2008 crash, billions more during the 2020 pandemic crash. Each time, he was buying while others were selling in panic, and each time, he made a fortune when markets recovered, because they always recover. They always do.
Habit number 6. Most people check their portfolio every single day. They panic when it drops 5%. They celebrate when it gains 10%. They buy and sell and buy and sell, and they make their brokers rich, not themselves. Buffett bought Coca-Cola in 1988. He still holds it today, never sold a single share. That one investment has returned billions because he never touched it. His exact words? Only buy something that you would be perfectly happy to hold if the market shut down for 10 years. And this? Our favorite holding period is forever. The stock market transfers money from the impatient to the patient. Buffett said that, and he has proven it every single year for over 7 decades. Here is what most people do not understand about time and investing. The majority of Buffett's wealth, the vast majority, was made after his 50th birthday, not before. He was already a millionaire at 30, a multimillionaire at 40, but the real explosion happened after 50, after 60, after 70, after 80.
Because compound interest is not linear, it is exponential. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger the longer you leave it. $1 invested at 25 is worth dramatically more than $1 invested at 45. Not slightly more, dramatically more. Stop thinking about next month. Start thinking about the next 20 years. That single mindset shift is worth millions. And habit number 7, the one Buffett says is the foundation of everything else. Every single morning, Warren Buffett sits down and reads. Not for 30 minutes, not for 1 hour. He spends 80% of his working day reading. Annual reports, newspapers, books, financial statements, industry publications. When asked the secret to his success, he held up a stack of papers and said, "Read 500 pages every week. That is how knowledge works. It builds up like compound interest." His business partner Charlie Munger said, "Go to bed smarter than when you woke up." Most people scroll for 500 minutes a day. Buffett reads 500 pages. That gap in knowledge is the gap in wealth. You do not need to read 500 pages, but read something about money every single day. One article, one chapter, one annual report. Because every piece of knowledge you gain compounds, just like money. And over decades, the person who reads every day becomes almost impossible to beat. Not because they are smarter, but because they know more. And in investing, knowledge is the ultimate competitive advantage.
7 habits. Invest in yourself first. Pay yourself first. Live below your means. Only invest in what you understand. Be greedy when others are fearful. Think in decades. Read every single day. None of these are complicated. None of these require a finance degree. None of these require a lot of money to start. They require something much rarer: discipline, patience, and time. Buffett started with $114. He followed these 7 habits for 80 years, one decision at a time, $1 at a time, 1 decade at a time. And here is what most people miss. It was not any single habit that made him wealthy. It was all 7 working together, consistently, over time, like gears in a machine. Each one makes the others more powerful. Invest in yourself, and you make better investment decisions. Pay yourself first, and you have capital to invest. Live below your means, and you have more to invest. Invest in what you understand, and you lose less. Be greedy when fearful, and you buy at the best prices. Think in decades, and you let compound interest do its work. Read every day, and you get smarter every single year. 7 habits, 1 system, a lifetime of results. The question is not, can you do this? You absolutely can. The question is, will you start today? If this video changed the way you think about money, I need you to do 3 things right now. Number 1, subscribe to Doc Dollars, because every single week, I break down exactly what the wealthy know that schools never taught you. No fluff, no hype, no complicated finance language, just real money lessons. Number 2, comment below. Tell me, which of these 7 habits hits you hardest? Which one do you need to start working on today? I read every single comment. Number 3, share this video with one person who needs to hear this. One friend, one family member, one colleague. Because the best investment you can make today is giving someone you care about the knowledge that could change their financial life. The habits, the strategies, the mindset. Everything Buffett knows, made simple. Subscribe now, and I will see you in the next one. Class is in session.